Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast. In today's show, we're going to be talking about the most costly Amazon packaging mistakes you can make as a seller, and we're going to touch on what Amazon sellers and brand owners are doing wrong when they're creating a product, why packaging design is overlooked, and what actions you can take as an existing seller. Okay, so welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with
All right, like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about what sellers are doing to make costly mistakes with their Amazon packaging and how to change that around. Our guest is one of the leading authorities in the UK with over 20 years of experience. She is a branding specialist and visual communicator and founder of ME Brand. Our guest is inspired to help entrepreneurs and success-driven individuals to develop their personal brands so they make an impact and confidently attract their ideal clients. Our guest today is a friend of mine, Kitty Lai. But before we get to Kitty, let's hit that sponsor.
As you know, at Lunch with Norm, bigger is always better. Bigger business, bigger profits, and yes, bigger lunches. Z wants to make sure that your business and profits are bigger by taking you and your business international. They are a one-stop importer of record shop, including compliance and logistics services. They focus on all the elements involved in a smooth first-time custom clearance so that you can focus on what you're good at, selling. Click on the screen now or follow the link in the description box below and get 50% off your first shipment today.
Where is the boy?
Hello. How are you doing?
No. How are you doing?
I've been better, I'd say, but you know what? I think I'm finally turning the corner on this. But yeah, I can see that Hayden, he did a great job on Friday. So thank you very much.
I don't know about that.
He got the job done at least.
He got the job done. There we go.
But anyways, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been messaging me. I was sick last week with COVID, so you may have noticed I wasn't there. So this is my first day back, and yeah, it's been quite the journey. I just lost my taste yesterday, so other than that, things are good.
You don't really have good taste in a lot of things. What did you lose your taste in now?
That's great. Anyways, welcome everyone. If you're new to the show, please smash those like buttons. Give us those thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. Also, if you know anyone that's interested in packaging and design, maybe they're just looking at creating a design for their new product, tag them in the comments. We're currently live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, so you can always go to any of our channels. Just search Norm Farrar or Lunch with Norm. Also, if you aren't a part of it yet, join the Lunch with Norm Amazon FBA and e-commerce collective Facebook group. That's where all the good stuff happens. If you have any questions, tips, advice, I know Wilfred Lightheart has been giving a ton of great social media tips recently. So check those out if you're interested. And Z, our sponsor, has been also sharing some great tips too. So if there's any tips or questions you have with anyone in particular, a lot of our guests are part of it already. Also, we have a prize today that we'll announce in just a few minutes. But yeah, okay, yeah, I think that's everything on my side.
All right, very good. You should take a test and see if you can get down to Prosper.
I'll take one afterwards, but I don't know.
You got a ticket. You got a ticket waiting here.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Too bad you won't be able to taste the Kobe beef, though. Yeah.
Oh, I know. I was looking forward to that, but
next year.
Yeah, there's always next year.
Okay. Oh, you got the Mexico trip coming up too. So there you go.
That's right.
All right. So if you have any questions or comments, just throw them over in the comment area. and sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, enjoy the show. I'm going to be drinking a Red Bull today because I don't have coffee in my room. But welcome, Kitty.
Hi, Norman.
Hello.
Yeah, it's so great to see you again after like 4 weeks, I think, back in from Miami. But yeah, I am also recovering from COVID, so this is my first day back. So if I cough on the show, I apologize. But I'm fit and well now, so I'm really excited to be on this show. I didn't want to reschedule either, so very excited to talk about design.
I'm happy that you're here. Now, I was telling people in the last podcast that we had met 2 or 3 years ago. It was 2 years ago, I think, at Amazon, where we Wilfred and I were doing a bit of a talk, and we bumped into each other there. So yeah, it's really cool. And I was just saying, see what happens when you network. You get to meet some really great people. So I'm glad we bumped into each other.
Absolutely. And it's really great to see you, and to catch up with you and to talk about something I'm passionate about. And I know I talked about this a lot actually on my own social media. But what I really want to do is to help other Amazon sellers at the moment online, and how important branding and design is. So yeah, can't wait to kick the show off.
Let's start. I don't think I gave a proper introduction. Why don't we talk a little bit more about who you are and what you've achieved?
Yeah, so the introduction was great. Thank you very much, Norm. But yeah, I've always been about design and branding. I studied it back in '99, graduated then, and I worked in London agencies ever since then. So I've been working for 20 plus years for retail brands, mainly in the retail arena. So Ted Baker, I was head of graphics there for about 10 years, to work my way up the ranks. Then I joined another UK company, Cath Kidston, so rebranded everything for the business. And ever since then, I've been working for other brands and small business owners as well. So a lot of it is to do about design, rebranding and packaging. So I get a lot of requests to relook at their branding where it's gone wrong. What can I do? How can I help them? So yeah, a lot of my business is just evolved around design and making things great for the customer and having that customer experience from their brands as well.
A lot of the times, and I depending on who I'm talking to, but they don't necessarily agree about packaging when I talk to them. They're more concerned on having a good product, not so much the packaging. For the most part, the argument they give me is nobody sees the packaging in the slide or in the slide deck. Why would I even care? If they get a good experience, or if they have a good experience with the product, they're going to give me a review. I roll my eyes at that. I have a whole different look about this, but I wanted to get your feel. Why is it so important to get the packaging right?
Oh, my eye roll is bigger than yours, Norm. For years, 20 years, I've been rolling my eyes, and it baffles me because obviously I started an Amazon journey about 5 years ago as well, and I was amongst a lot of other Amazon sellers. Me, with my background, I just loved it because I was learning something new, and being able to give back as well. But people forget about the whole experience and the end result. They look at the product, yes, that's great. They find something, they brand it up and stuff, but they just start with a logo and they think that is it. That's all I need. That's all that the customer will see. And as long as it looks good, that's fine. But, it's more than that. It's creating that whole experience around it. When you get the box or the packaging, but depending on what it's packaged in, because there's different types of packaging, outer packaging, inner packaging and stuff. But it's that being tactile and having that evoke the emotions in the customer when they actually receive a product. Say you get a product in as a present, you open up, it's boxed up, but it's not just a brown paper box. It needs to be designed and having that feeling of excitement. It's like, wow, I want to keep this packaging. And I know I talk a lot about Apple packaging, the packaging that they create, that experience you get as a customer, that whole brand feel. And when you just want to keep it. I mean, I've got boxes and boxes of Apple products that I just keep hold of. And I think where people get it wrong is that they don't see the bigger picture, and where it starts is from the research stage. Actually, when you're researching your product, think about the bigger picture as well. What is the end result? What happens when you've created that product? What next? It always seems to be like an afterthought for a lot of people. So I think they need to start the research from the logo design, even through to trademarking. And a lot of people have to do that research part first. So why aren't people looking at their competitors, starting from scratch? What are other people doing well? What are other sellers doing not so well? What are products? What other people are, how are they designing it? How is it being created? And I think it's not seeing what the other your competition is doing. And I think that's where sellers get it wrong, to not think about it, go 10 steps back and think about the beginning process. Because for me, it's all about concept and the research stage. And that's really important, where you start with design.
I had a client that I was working with, and they were a non-alcoholic spirit. And I wasn't in the state. I live in Canada, and I needed to get this product looked at. So I ordered 4 or 5 of the competitors and theirs, and I sent it over to my parents' house. And I just said, "Hey, Dad, what do you think of the different bottles when they show up?" And he had one that he said, "Wow, this one looks great," because it was in a package. Now, it just happens to be the number 1 selling product in that category, right? If somebody goes and looks it up right now, they'll see it. But the others, he said he didn't really know. It looked cheap. All of the bottles looked cheap because Amazon put it in their bubble wrap, and they just put it in, and then you roll it out. So the customer experience was zero. So what would he have bought? Well, he would have bought that one. Then which one would he have bought next? Well, the one in the best bottle. It was, forget the taste. I didn't want him to taste it. I just wanted him to take a look at it. And it's so true with everything, whether it's I talk about this knife that, we sell, and it was a $16 cost of goods, came out at $49, rechanged the packaging. We got it up first to $99, then we got it up to $124. Now it bounces around. Then we threw in some wood packaging, just $3 more wood packaging. And now at the high, it's a separate SKU. It's the same knife, just hammered, but it's selling at $224, $16 knife.
And that's exactly it. It's building trust as well. If a design looks bad, if the product looks bad, people aren't going to trust it. They're not going to buy it. But if it looks like it's designed and you've actually thought about the design of the packaging, I think you're more likely, you will more likely make more sales as well. So I think it's, customers do have to have an element of trust with your brand, however good you think it looks. And I think a lot of sellers get it wrong because they think they're designers. And they think, I like this. I'm going to have this design. I'm going to add this, and I'm going to create that. I'm going to even create my own logo. And that's where it goes wrong, because they are not designers. I mean, yeah, everyone's got a good eye. Everyone has an eye for detail. Everyone is creative in this to a degree. But not everyone's a designer. It's like, I'm not a great cook. I'm okay, but I wouldn't say I'm a Michelin star chef and start cooking and then selling it to everyone, saying, I've created this meal. I'm going to sell it for like £100 now. And a lot of sellers think that they can do the same thing because, actually, I'll just go to Fiverr.com. I'll get a designer to design something. I think I know what I want. And I think it's getting too involved in that process, and there are specialists that are qualified to do that for you, and that where the thinking is completely different from just normal sellers. And I know some people do get it right, but a lot of people get it very wrong as well. And I've had to bail out a lot of people and sellers. Why is it not selling? And I just look at their logo or their packaging and say, look, I know where you've gone wrong. I can help you. And a lot of people fail to recognize they don't have a budget, and I think that's where they go wrong, is because they don't value the design. They think it can be done on the cheap, but then it's reflected in what you produce as well.
Absolutely. And you talk about the person not being a designer. A lot of the times the manufacturer is not a designer. I know there's one particular supplement manufacturer that I can tell every bottle that they've designed. It's just the same type of graphic, the same colors, the same everything. And it's, it's this company. And I don't know, like, I bet you I hit it about 80, 90% of the time. But like you said, you can go out and find a professional graphic artist to do it, and a professional packaging company. A lot of the times, I'm just talked on the weekend to somebody that has a product. It has the same bottle as pretty much everybody in the niche. And let's change it up. Let's make it a little bit different. What can we do to make this different so it'll stand out? And so when we're just talking about, the overall design, it's not only that, and the aesthetics. You were talking about, the font and the graph. I see so many people that they have 5 different fonts, all different sizes, in their, not only in their on their product packaging, but in their Amazon images and everything else. It looks like an amateur, like a really bad person trying to save a couple of dollars has done the design work.
And all you need is 2 fonts, really.
Yeah.
You just need 2 fonts. It can be bold, it can be italic, it can be thick. There's so many things you can do, but keep it simple and consistent. And I think that's where people get it wrong, is not being consistent on every single channel they're on Amazon, on their website, on their packaging. And I think a lot of people think more is better, but it's not. When you hone it all down and just take out what you don't need, all the noise surrounding packaging and design, I think then you've got you'll get a better result, and it will just look so much 10 times better than what you think you had in the first place.
Yeah, and try to get people other than family and friends to tell you it looks good. Use PickFu or use Usability Hub, because your family are usually going to tell you what you like to hear.
And it's quite funny, PickFu, absolutely. And, they do a great job as well. And there was one client actually I had, I won't say what they had, what the product did actually. But they, obviously I designed something for them, and one had like some fuzzy background in it. It was almost like rocks and stuff. And then the graphic on top of it. Then I created one that was just plain. I was really going for the plain side of it, but I've already designed it just because they wanted to see a version. And they took that to PickFu and did an A/B test and seeing which one they liked. And funnily enough, everyone decided they liked the graphic, the fuzzy graphic on there. And I just could not, I was just shaking my head. But
yeah.
The percentage of people the poll came back with that. And I've just seen their product today, and they've taken it off. They've literally used the plain graphic, because I knew it will sell better and it will look better. But they did go with that. I artworked everything for them to have that graphic in there. But subsequently it's not got it now. So
yeah. Now let's say that you are starting out and you don't have enough money to do it right. Do you have any suggestions for people?
My suggestion is the research stage. You can do a lot of things. Look at what your product, what are you selling? Look at your competitors and how they're doing it. So a lot of them will look very similar, to be honest, and there's a reason why. But obviously, if you want to be slightly, you want to stand out from your competition, you need to look about maybe the fonts or the brand tone of voice, it's the whole brand that you build around it. So how you speak to the customer, how it looks as well. But if you're starting out, I would say look at research stage, because I think that's a good starting point. And then if you are on a budget, I don't disagree on going to places like Fiverr. There are good designers on there. I'm not saying they're not, but obviously they will only give you a logo, and they probably won't think outside of the box and beyond what you're asking. But I would say I would still recommend getting a professional to look at it, if anything. I mean, you can do things on budget. I have seen people do it successfully, but to keep it very simple, keep it to basics, get the logo designed at least, but you can keep everything simple. Like I said, the layouts, there is a hierarchy of actually laying things out. The logo needs to be at the top, a third usually of the width. Then I generally put the product. What is it? So yes, the logo, the brand name, and then the product. And then underneath that is the next part of the information that is important. And then it goes down. So there's only so many things that you need on a actual packaging. You don't need a lot. And I know people start putting things here, and then they put certification, it's made in USA or made here. You can put that around the box. You can do other things with it, but it's really hard to say when you, because I'm a designer, I just already know what you could do. But when you don't, I would say look at what other people are doing, and 9 times out of 10, it is very basic. What they've done is very simple: logo, product, and then just the bare minimal information that you need to know about that product on there, and any other sort of legal requirements you do. But I would say that would be a good start. Look at other people. Yeah.
One of the things that we do on our primary image, if the packaging is showing there, so sometimes the packaging shows up, sometimes it's just the primary image with the product. But if the product and the packaging show up, we change around the artwork, because we don't want, just exactly what you were saying, we don't want it to look complicated. We just want it nice and simple. So when they see the packaging, or when they even see the bottle, we'll get our graphic artist to, if it's a cylinder, you'll have the instructions or the nutritional facts wrapping around. We get rid of it. We expand it out. So when a person sees it, they can actually see what they're buying. Now, when they get it, is it going to be slightly different? Yeah, it is. But I think this is better for the customer to be able to see the product. And, we had about a month ago, we had somebody come to us, and they were killing it a year ago in their market. And because they got on the radar of all these apps that, find really good products. So people started to knock them off. They use the same bottle. They use the similar logo. And the one thing that was really different between their product and everybody else, you couldn't read their logo. It was so tiny at the very top. It was like an eighth of an inch, or not an eighth of an inch, but an eighth of the photo. And you're looking at it, everybody else, the thing that they did, they had the same bottle, larger logo, same colors, and they were starting to take up all the market share, because people were thinking that this was the company. And the other one, it just looked cheap.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's just strange how that happens. Now, the other thing I guess I want to talk about, I just want to keep going down the list here. Are there any other things that Amazon sellers are just getting wrong, other than not going out, doing their research properly?
Well, obviously, when I look at a brand and look at design, I look at everything. So it's even through to the photography that you do, because I do art direct on photo shoots as well. So a lot of people are getting wrong, not bringing enough lifestyle imagery into their on their listings as well. So it's how you use the product, and how, and it's being more instructional and informational for the customer when they go onto that listing. They don't just want to read. It's more the visual aspect sells quicker than reading a list of benefits and features on a particular product. So if you have a video or something to explain, I think it's 10 times more likely that it will sort of reach out to the customer, and they'll understand the brand better as well. So I think a lot of photography, for me, I see everything from design, fonts, to the photography as well on the listings. And I think a lot of people get that wrong, because you can take it yourself as well, and people can do that well, but I think a lot of people don't do it very well as well. So it's really hard to say. But I think people need to invest, and I think that's the main thing, is having a budget, and then be serious about that budget, because the marketing side is very important to get your product out there, because no one's going to see you unless they've walked in that Amazon door. They might see you or not, depending where you're ranking or where you're listing on, what page you're on as well. But I think it's really important to have a budget for building your brand out beyond Amazon, because I think you need to come off as well as just being on one platform.
I used to, way back, 35 years ago or so, I went to film school, and one of my profs came up with a great saying: just because you have a camera doesn't make you a photographer. And it's so true with iPhones today. Everybody's taking their own pictures, when if you don't know the lighting or the proper lens, the depth of field, you can go even to a photographer. And you know what? For the most part, people can just go to a typical photographer. They don't have to go to a specific product photographer. But I know like some products that I had in the past, when I went to product shoots and what those product photographers were charging. And people would not pay that for Amazon, not nowadays anyways.
Yeah.
But a good product photographer, you can definitely tell the difference between, what a good photographer is, what a mass produced product photographer or photography company is doing. Anyways, yeah, you're bang on when you're talking about that.
And I also think a lot of people that they don't know when to stop. A lot of sellers selling well and stuff, but they can sell better. They need to sort of take a step back and actually review their brand as well. Sometimes they sell well, but sometimes actually they could sell better. I think they need to look at when to have a rebrand or refresh. I generally say refresh, not rebrand, because they have that customer base already, unless they're actually looking to target a completely new audience. I think sometimes sellers don't think that they need to build their brand any more than beyond Amazon. And I think it's getting new products in and actually creating a proper business with your brand as well, because I think a lot of sellers decide, I'm going to sell this, I'm going to go into pets, and now I'm going to go into this category, and I'm going into that category. And then it's kind of disjointed. And I know a lot of sellers ask me, when they're branding, coming up with a brand name, I said, are you building a company, or is it just are you niching down into a particular area? You can have a business with selling different products, but is it under that brand umbrella as well? So, I think a lot of people don't think, what do I do next? Oh no, I'm going to have to create a new brand. I'm going to create a new company. And, I think people don't think outside of that, of having, something that's more consistent and coherent.
Yeah, I'm going to go down a slightly different rabbit hole. And that's, you have this beautiful packaging, but if you can't pull it off, if people see on Amazon that you've got this really beautiful packaging, you're a micro seller or micro brand, they don't know who you are. They just come across you and they say, oh, this is really good. What's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to go to Google. And if you're not consistent with your brand and your if your packaging and your brand looks really great, and your social media or your web page, and you don't have to have an expensive web page, but it's just got to be consistent, you could lose a sale there, because you were talking about trust. They lose trust. I don't know if you have anything to say about that.
No, absolutely. I think the whole thing of building trust is building the brand as well. So I think if people trust in your brand, you'll have the ability to scale with your products and your brand as well and beyond. And I think going back to packaging as well, it's that whole experience as well, is having customers having a good experience and telling their friends and family and about your great brand and how great this experience was. Say for example, an unboxing experience, just receiving something through the post and it felt so amazing, I've got to tell everybody. And I think that all comes back down to the design and packaging and thinking about, what am I going to do? It's not going out just in a brown box. You can put tape on it. You can brand the box. Even if it's simple as it is, if it's a brown box, you can still create a huge branding experience around a box with the tone, how you speak to the customer and how it makes them feel.
Right. Okay. It is 9:30. So I don't want to forget, we do have a giveaway today. Kitty, do you want to talk about the giveaway?
Today I'm going to give away a free branding audit, so brand design audit. So if you think you need a refresh or creating a new brand, I'd love to have a look at what you've got and then give you some ideas as well. So that's my gift to you.
All right, fantastic. And we're also going to sweeten the pot a little bit with a free month of the Centurion League, as long as you're not already a member. So if you'd like to get the brand audit and the month of Centurion, it's #Wheel of Kelsey. Tag 2 people and you'll get a second entry. Now, Kelsey, one thing before we go over to the sponsorship. If you have questions, post them in the comments section. And let me know what your packaging experience has been, good, bad, or ugly. All right. Now, Kelsey, put your finger on the button, hit the button.
A big thank you to our sponsor, Startup Club, the largest club on Clubhouse with over 790,000 members and growing. They're one of the world's largest communities supporting the startup ecosystem, from founders to those wishing to work for a startup and everything in between. You can find them at www.startup.club for blogs, recordings, and a calendar of upcoming shows, and on the Clubhouse app. Just search Startup Club for daily shows 24/7. You can also now listen to their show, the Serial Entrepreneur Club podcast, on Apple and Spotify too. Stop by to connect, learn, and grow together.
I've got a bunch of questions. So if you do have a question, I would recommend that you put it into the comments section fairly quickly. It looks like we have about 7 in already. So we are going to be getting to them shortly. All right, Kitty, let's talk about just, this is pretty easy. Bad designs. How's it going to affect your online sales?
Oh my God, badly. As easy as that.
Oh, that's easy. Okay.
Well, that's easy. Yeah, no, it's, you know, I've talked about the trust element, you know, and it's liking a particular design or product as well. And if it just looks bad, I mean, people aren't going to trust your brand, and that is detrimental to your business, because you know, we're all sellers and we all want to have a serious business. And if you're not taking the design side of it serious enough, then it will just, you know, affect your sales, you know, overnight. In fact, I mean, there's so many people in the same niche, in the same category, selling the same thing, and you really need to sort of stand out from your competition. And if you're not doing that with your design and the packaging side of things, I think you're going to lose out big time. So I think, you know, I think it's as easy and as obvious as it is, you're going to lose on sales. And I think it's important, and we need to sort of think about the experience, the user experience. And I keep going on about that because you know, for me, branding is about the experience, and that's everything that is. It's not just the logo. That's not what a brand is. It's building that know, like, and trust with your brand, and building beyond that as well. So I think, you know, sellers really need to think about what they're doing with their product now, and seeing, do they need to reassess what they've currently got? Is their design good enough? Be honest about your own product. Like Norm said, don't just ask your friends and relatives. Do a market research, do a poll, and see what people actually really think, because you might have customers now, but you could be tenfolding your business, you know, with a better design and better packaging and a better experience for your customers. And I also think about the sellers also, when they do approach designers, that they give them a very bad brief as well. So not having a good brief in the first place is not a great start as well. So you'll be putting you'll be guiding your designer down a rabbit hole as well, because a lot of sellers think they know what they want. They know they has to be this color, it has to say this, it's going to be that. So it's that over designing as well. So don't design on your behalf of the designer. That's what you pay a professional to do. So I think about the briefing as well. What is it exactly that you need for your designer to do?
Yeah, one of my first clients, this was horrible. 18 months, he had less than 1,000 sales. Now he was selling toe wart remover. Okay, toe wart remover. So he put it in 2 brown bottles. He had a powder blue box with a yellow foot and 2 drops of ooze. It looked like ooze dripping off of the toes. All right. I don't know about you. I'm not crazy about buying that product. So we change it around a bit. So we change it into a white box, green and blues, make it more of a healthy wellness type product. Yeah. Instead of making ugly nails, we were how to make your nails. Or this was a nail product. Sorry. This was how to make your nails healthy and beautiful, rather than having toe fungus. So we took that, put it into 2 nice green bottles, changed their logo. First month, 8,000 sales. The second month was 28,000 sales. The next was 64. We got it up to 124,000 in sales, where they had no sales before. And it was just perception, and who wants to buy an ugly box with 2 toes or a foot oozing oil?
Exactly. I mean, you've got to think about the customer. Would you buy it if you're
No.
the person who did exactly? If you're the owner and you put that on there, would you think I'm not going to buy that? So you've got to think: does your product need a rebrand, a refresh, and what is wrong with your product? So be critical about what you currently have. It might be great, but you just take a look, take a step back, and see: do I need to do anything to it? Is it the logo? What's actually stopping more sales from happening? Is it the design?
Right. So there's lots of things to look at. And I got to tell you, the owner of that brand really thought he had a great looking product. He did not want me to change it.
Exactly.
So
that's what sellers are getting wrong. See, there you go. I mean, I think a lot of people think I'm the owner. I know best. This is my product, and they just get too close to it. They literally, this is my baby. I'm not going to let go. But sometimes you have to take a step back and see what other people suggest, and do that research, and ask the professionals to help you.
Right. So talking about steps, what are some action steps sellers can take before we get into the questions?
Can you? What do you mean?
Sure. What are some action steps that sellers can take? They've got a bad brand. Right. What can they do to help bring out the better brand?
Okay, the COVID got better of me. It just took my brain away for a second. How can they create a better brand? What steps do they need to take? So, I think they literally need to take their brand and start doing some market research, as in looking at, put some questions down. Does my logo work? What is wrong with my logo at the moment? What is wrong? Have I got a brand? And have they got that brand tone and voice, and how are they speaking to their customers? So it's the second step, the logo, how they're speaking to the brand. What is their actual goal and mission for that particular, their product as well? Are they in the correct niche? Are they actually targeting the right people and the correct audience? So that comes down to how you're talking to your audience and how you visually look. And also they might want to think about color as well. What is wrong with the design side of things? Is it the fonts? Am I using too many fonts? Have a look, count your fonts on your packaging now. If you've got packaging in front of you, count them and see what is disjointed about this particular design. And then also it's the color as well. Is the color right? For example, I'm selling dog food and I'm using bright reds and things. I mean, people don't use reds generally for dog foods and stuff. It's generally yellows and greens and blues and stuff. But is the color right for your particular product? Is it wrong? You just mentioned the toe walk thing. You just changed it from whatever all ghastly colors to like a white and green, sort of more sort of wellness colors. Is that affecting your sales? Does that work with the design? Be honest and have a look and see what you think, and list these questions down to create a poll and see what other people think, because you might have not seen anything and you've just got too close to it because you just don't want to let go. And maybe it's the fundamental change of just that color that could change the whole thing.
All right, very good. Now we've got a bunch of questions. Kelsey.
All right.
Okay. Yep. So we have a big question here from Claudia. So it's 3 different parts. So just I'll go through it first. Hi, Kelsey, Norm, Kitty. I will need to have packaging made soon, and I would like your advice. My product is a kitchen item, so there will be photos of different food items on the packaging. I ordered my top competitors' products, and their packaging has around 10 different colors on it. I want my packaging to look better, or at least as good as theirs, so I will have many different colors as well. What advice would you offer so that I can get very nice packaging at the best price, please? What should I tell my supplier or packaging company when describing what I want? Thank you.
Right. So am I guessing that the packaging is different colors per type of product, kitchen product, or is it that one product and you're using different colors all over it? So that's what I would question first. If it is 10 different kitchen products and with different colors, that's no problem, but you might want to sort of look at a different color palette from your competitors, because if you're doing something very similar, how are you going to differentiate yourself? Maybe it's the palette, and then look at the how they've used their imagery. Could you not use the food product on the packaging? But if it has to be on there with, I guess it's a utensil, so you'll have to use some sort. It's the way you might shoot the product. Are they using models or lifestyles in their packaging as well? There's lots of components you can put together, but I would probably say keep it simple. I think because it's a utensil, you probably would have to use maybe for example, it's a pasta, whatever spatulas. You'll have to use those maybe with the pasta dish. But then the colors, I wouldn't confuse it too much, because you should have a palette of colors for your brand as well. So have a look at, is it consistent, and are those colors going to translate through to all your marketing side of things, or how are you going to advertise it on social media or whatever channels you're using? Are those colors just one-offs, or is it a family of colors that you can arrange and reuse over as well? So there's so many ways you can translate it onto the packaging, but firstly and foremostly, is it different enough from your competitor?
You know, we do some kitchen products as well, and our outer package is just the silhouette of the product. It looks like it basically is an apple box. So we thought, hey, you know, why don't we just knock that off, put some transparent stickers on? But you know, then you have the old anticipation. It lifts, and the product is unveiled. And it's very, very simple. The one is black with the product on it. The one is white with the product on it. It's like a silhouette. So I agree 100%. I don't know if you want a ton of color on your packaging for a kitchen utensil.
I would probably say as well, I'm just thinking of sauces. You know, like Schwartz, they have sauces with bolognese or mac and cheese. They have those packet sauces, and I designed something a long time ago. Is that you'll have the different plate with the whatever food it is on there, and then you could have the utensil. But then that's the only differentiation, is the actual image and how you translate that, and then a simple color graphic that can separate whether it's the title of whatever your utensil is, pasta, spatulas, or whatever, and then your brand. And I'd probably keep it very simple, and I wouldn't use a ton of colors as well, because it depends, you know, is it a fun brand or is it a more serious brand as well?
Right.
So you know how are you using those colors as well? You need to think about that.
Yeah, and one of the other things that I think supplement companies do this really, really well, is that if they have vitamin D, they'll use an orange or a swipe of orange, just so you can show that, oh, this is a different vitamin. Oh, the sleep one is purple or dark color. Yeah.
Okay, and just to clarify, it was just for one product.
Okay.
Right. Okay. I wouldn't use a ton of colors then.
All right. Okay, next one is from Coolhand99. I am looking to reorder a product I currently sell. I am pleased with the external box, but I want to reduce the plastic inside protecting each piece. What, if any, eco-friendly alternatives are there?
Okay, so use plastic inside the. So the plastic plastic inside protecting it. Okay, so you could. I don't know what the product is. Obviously, it depends. It's depending how fragile your product is as well, because certain things probably lend itself to have plastic packaging, unless you can use biodegradable types of plastics or paper-based packaging to hold your product in place. That's the option I would suggest, but it depending how fragile your product is.
Yeah, one of the things that we've done to get away from some packaging as well, plastics, is to use EVA foams. So you can just place it right in, and it also protects the product.
And you can get those packing peanuts where they dissolve in water as well. So there's lots of things there is different types of eco-friendly alternatives, but it's depending on your particular product.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, from Marcin, would you suggest to have a different design for packaging for e-com sales and different for retail, or does it not matter?
It doesn't matter. Your brand is your brand. I wouldn't change it for the sake of just being on e-com and then on retail as well. So I would keep it consistent, keep that brand, that visual of your brand consistent.
Okay, next one. All right, about plants. How about packaging live succulent plants for shipping? Are there any videos or blogs you can recommend, or just in any way how someone could do that?
Videos or blogs about packaging succulent plants for shipping. That's a new one. I've not dealt with like live products or plants in particular, but I'm sure there are on YouTube. I can find out, but for me personally, I don't know. No.
I can tell you about how to do toe fungus remover.
Okay. From Ionit, is it a must to show the product on the packaging? Would just a logo and description be enough?
Depending on your product. Generally, if people are buying stuff on Amazon, they need to know what it is, and they already do know what it is because of your photos, your listings. So it's not necessary. You don't have to have pictures of it, but unless you want to show a window of the product inside it, so you don't have to have a picture of the product actually on the box packaging printed onto it. So you can have a window of some sort to show what your product is.
Yeah, it could cramp the actual package or the product itself. So yeah, 100% agree.
Okay, our next one is from Ariane. What is the best way to package a glass vase? Should the vase have bubble wrap or foam around it in a custom box?
Definitely a custom box to the shape of your vase. Because it's important it fits well, and you don't want it shaking around when it's sent through the post. Having bubble wrap or foam, you can have a foam wrap that actually really secures it in place, which is probably better than bubble wrap. Bubble wrap, you'll have to use quite a few bits of bubble, and then it's got to fit inside a box. So if you can have a foam that's already shaped to the actual vase, then I would suggest that.
Yeah, we've just for our coffee mugs, we've got a box. It's just a micro corrugate, but we had a custom made. It's the styrofoam that it sits in, and yeah, we've never had one break. It's great. I can throw it against the wall.
There's also the option if you don't want to use styrofoam or whatever. There's card box that can be engineered to actually hold your vase in place. So I'm doing that because I pretend that's the vase, but you can have cardboard like mugs you get through the box, and they're just literally packaged in a corrugated card, and there's no use of foam as well. So that's much more eco-friendly.
Okay. Along the lines of eco-friendly, from Jessica Rabbit, how important is eco-friendly as opposed to plastic and styrofoam to customers? Price-friendly suppliers from which countries?
I think if we can do our bit for the environment, for me, eco-friendly is the first option. What can you do to minimize impact on the environment? I would say if your product lends itself to have styro or plastic, then you need to use that. But if you can use other options, I would suggest that. Price-friendly suppliers, I think you need to have a conversation with the suppliers in those particular countries, because every country has different regulations in terms of what they can do for you as well, and probably legal requirements and certifications as well. So I think it's really depending where your product is made. If the supplier can source that for you, even better, or you can source it yourself. But I know there's lots of companies that are now going to the more eco-sustainable route as well. So I think you need to do a little bit of background research and have an honest chat with your supplier where you can.
Good answer.
All right, and we just have two more left from Dr. Cause. There are countless Chinese sellers on Amazon. Terrible logo, terrible name, terrible colors, but in many subcategories are dominating based on price and okay listings. How do we compete?
Oh goodness, yeah, that is a problem, isn't it, for us all? It's difficult because I don't know what tactics they're using other than using the price drops as well. I think you need to ramp up your brand experience, the brand voice, your brand off and on Amazon as well. I think you need to grow and build more trust with your customers as well, whether it's through giveaways or communicating with your customers off Amazon. Obviously not doing anything dodgy, but communicating to customers with the brand experience as well. I think that's the only way you can do it and give them the best experience they can ever get compared to any Chinese sellers, because they're far away. They can't deal with customer service as well as you could probably do. I think it's just being transparent as well. So I think, that's all I can suggest.
The majority of Amazon sellers are mid to upper income. And, there's, I think, a lot of people think that it's all price, price, price. I don't go after price. If people want a product cannibalize, go for it. If you want to make a nickel instead of $1, go for it. I'd rather sell fewer units but make more profit, and at the end of the day, start to build out that way. I still feel that, and this is, I see this all the time, and check it out for yourself. This is true with almost every category. There's usually 3 major pricing tiers. You got to pick which pricing tier you want to be in. If you want to be with the low tier, fine. If you want to go into that mid tier, you just have to make sure that your packaging and your product listing looks that way. And then you can go with the higher tier. Many, many, many times, like those knives, for example, the first version, which went from 99 to 124, we didn't lose traffic. We didn't lose sales. People still thought that a $49 knife and a $99 knife were equal in value, or higher in value, higher perceived value. So they're willing to, because they want to have that user experience. Now, I could sell that knife at $39 and compete with the Chinese. No. And then the other one, like when I brought it up to 224, that was a very particular audience. So you're not getting tons of sales, but it's just hey, wow, we did it, but you have to check that out for yourself. And for me, like, this is strictly my opinion, I never go with the bottom denominator.
You're absolutely right, Norm. Actually, you hit the nail on the head. I'm the same. I would never go for the cheapest. I do my research. I have a look. Anything actually doesn't look right. And again, with my design services, I don't drop my prices for anyone. And obviously I discount, but I don't drop my prices.
I was going to ask you.
I do mates rates, Norm. But no, I've been doing it for 20 years. I'm not going to compete with anyone on Fiverr.com or People Per Hour and stuff.
Yeah.
I have a standard, and I go by that standard, and I'm not going to drop my prices. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So from Yanni, should we use different language when speaking to our customers on different social channels, or should we stick to the very same message everywhere?
Depending on your audience base, are they actually elsewhere in different countries? If your main product is sold in the US and just English spoken, then I would just stick to that. It really depends if your product lends itself to having a different language, and I guess you can translate it as well. If you are selling in Europe, you probably need to have French, German, and all the other sort of languages translated for you. But on your packaging, you should have that on your biodegradable bag. Your poly bags as well. There should be translations on there if you're selling in Europe. So
I'm not sure if Yanni meant tone, different tone.
Right.
Should you use different language when speaking to your customers on different social media platforms?
Right.
So, like for Stephen Black was on, and he was incredible, and he was talking about going and scoping out different social media platforms and groups and hearing the tone and the way that they speak. And you can get very, very specific. And I think that's probably what you're mentioning. If it is the foreign language, that's, completely different. So, but this one, I would, if you are going down and if you need to get into different groups, I would just eavesdrop and see how they're talking and start to talk to them. And I definitely would talk. I would talk to them in the way that they're speaking. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I think he did clarify that. I got it completely wrong. So I try to speak in their native language, I guess.
Okay. And last question, and we'll wrap things up.
Yep.
From Nick Stuff, Kitty, in your experience, how precise is the 0.75 inch thickness to qualify for small standard size? What would be safe for a sleeve and a tray box? 0.7 inches? He's thinking
I
for.
don't work in inches. I can't work. I work in centimeters and millimeters. Can you read that again in terms of the sleeve tray? So it's
What would be safe for a sleeve and tray box?
Here, I'm gonna help you
So
out
he's
here.
thinking
yeah, and
about
probably need a bit.
scan.
Okay, so that's 1.9 centimeters.
1 point. Okay.
0.75 to 1.9.
What's under size? I don't know actually how precise it is in thickness, so I can't really answer that question. I don't really know what to say.
Okay.
For that particular one, I can't answer that question. I'm sorry. I don't really understand it.
All right. So that's it for questions.
Okay.
So thank you, everyone. There's still just a few more seconds left for the Wheel of Kelsey. So if you haven't entered already, just comment #Wheel of Kelsey and you'll get a chance to win a branding design audit from Kitty and Free Centurion League, which is Norm's mentorship, private group mentorship for Amazon and e-com sellers. And yeah, Norm, should we throw it to a sponsor?
Oh, yep. Let's do it now.
All right.
A big thank you to our sponsor, Startup Club, the largest club on Clubhouse with over 790,000 members and growing. They're one of the world's largest communities supporting the startup ecosystem, from founders to those wishing to work for a startup and everything in between. You can find them at www.startup.club for blogs, recordings, and a calendar of upcoming shows, and on the Clubhouse app. Just search Startup Club for daily shows 24/7. You can also now listen to their show, the Serial Entrepreneur Club podcast, on Apple and Spotify too. Stop by to connect, learn, and grow together.
All right, there we go. And Kelsey, look at the private chat.
Yeah. I realized.
Wrong button.
Anyways, we'll throw it over to the Wheel
We'll
of Kelsey.
double it up on the next podcast.
Yeah,
Okay.
All right.
All right. So, Kitty, sit back. You've never experienced the Wheel of Kelsey.
Right.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
Okay, so again, thank you everyone who has entered the Wheel of Kelsey. I'm going to just shuffle these up. If you are the winner of today's prize, just email me k@lunchwithnorm.com and we'll get your prize to you. We'll arrange it all for you. And it looks like the winner is Anna.
Yes.
Yay.
Congrats, Anna.
So Anna, just email me k@lunchwithnorm.com. I believe I have your contact information, so we'll make it nice and easy. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
All right. Fantastic. Kitty, thank you. We're going to have to get you on again.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. And, anything to do with design or branding and stuff, I'd love to just talk all day about it. But it's been a real pleasure being on the show. And thank you so much for having me.
And, we really appreciate it. And hopefully next time it'll be a COVID-free show.
Hopefully.
Right?
My
All
friend
right.
did go. Yep.
Well, and by the way, how do people get a hold of you?
It's on the on the translation. They can get hold of me on my email. So I think that's already on your podcast. So it's kitty@mebrandglobal.com, or they can find me on social media. It's kittylai.brand. So you can easily find me there, or LinkedIn. Just type in Kitty Lai and you should find me everywhere, hopefully.
Fantastic. All right. We will see you later. Okay, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show today. Wednesday, we're going to be joined by Mark Malutin to discuss how to build an e-commerce customer retention system. So that should be pretty cool. A lot of people aren't talking about that. So let's get into that one. All right, Kelsey, where are you, sir?
Oh, There we go.
You're not
Hello,
quite on
hello.
it today, right? The old COVID
It's
thing,
my
COVID head.
yeah. It's like it's messing with my head a little bit. Yeah. So hopefully everyone enjoyed the episode today. I know we've got probably some people at Prosper, which if you are attending, Norm is going to be there. I'm not going to be there, unfortunately,
I'll be speaking
this year.
today.
Yeah, so
2:45.
Norm is 2:45. So go check out, go support Norm, the beard guy at Prosper
Have at least
Show.
one more person in the audience. One person in the audience.
And if you are new to the show, new to the podcast, I would recommend going over to our Facebook group. That's Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast. That's where all the good stuff happens. That's where you can ask your questions. You can talk to us. And it's great. Okay. And if you are interested in more of the beard, as we like to say, if you'd like to be a part of our small session Q&As, guest lessons and social media lessons from me, you can sign up for our Patreon membership, which is like a paid membership program. You can go to the Lunch with Norm website and click on the membership tab. And yes, thank you everyone for watching. We got a bunch of new users too. So thank you for visiting. We go live. Norm's going to say it. How often do we go live, Norm?
Wow, I was waiting for you to say that. We go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. And I might as well finish this off, Kelsey. I want to thank everybody for listening today and being part of the community. If you do go over to our Facebook group, you'll see that it's a very active and engaged group. We love it, and we could not do it without you. So we will see you on Wednesday from the Prosper Show.
Lunch with Norm.